I'm gonna go take a walk on the High Line. Mate and I saw it yesterday while we were going to Menelik's birthday party. I have to tell you about that later. Anyhow, it's in full bloom and I want to see. And you should come. I know you won't because you haven't answered my text. So, you coming with me? Ready. I was gonna take the spy glasses with me, but I can't get them to work well. I gotta buy new ones, better ones. A few black guys are yelling at a guy in the car on the corner making a left. He either didn't see the signal or he asked how to interpret the signal. All I know is that when it changed, everyone cheered. The tourists on the opposite side of the street, where I was, were taking pictures. I laughed as I listened to the passing cell phone conversation. You can tell immeasurable amounts about people if you listen to them when they think you're not listening. Anyway, he was a completely normal guy, not too smart, not too dumb, and some sort of relationship problem. The tourists. They were amazed. This is New York. That's the caption to the picture. And then I think about it. I'll tell you just exactly how the walk went. I'll stay completely aware and record it all. I have to tell you, though, what I look like, what I was wearing. If I don't, then you'd not really understand. You see, I can't observe without being observed. So, I have to blend in, but attract enough attention so that I can get reactions and measure awareness. That's my thinking every time I get dressed. What reactions do I want today? Anyway, she's across the street from me, a shorter skirt, chubby legs and all pastels. She's anxious, but I don't care about what because she's uninteresting, and I turn my attention away. There's a van that just ran a red light. I look at the guy's face and wonder what he was thinking. What fuckhead did he arrive at? The couple coming down the stairs is dressed like they just did a personal office lunch. They didn't fuck. That's obvious. It's really just professional friends. She's a bit less interested than he is, but it's a good match. The next guy's dressed like he hasn't been in offices for too long. His khakis are a bit faded, almost stylishly so, but not enough to get him kicked out of the office. They're rules. He's learning them, softly. I laugh at the uniforms. Then they hint. Tourists. Mountains and mountains of tourists. I love this. I love watching the tourists. I love trying to figure out exactly what each is saying. It's language slalom. I try and translate everything I hear. French is doable. Italian is much harder. I only get about 30%. Portuguese is about 40%. And then there's everything else, and that ranges between 5 and 10%. I can say 5% for the Asian languages because of their body language, and that's pretty universal. Facial movements are the telltales. Anyhow, it's sunny so there are all these lake white 20-somethings tanning on the benches. Some inverted, legs up, some have their pants rolled up, some with tank tops and others without sleeves. No one's shirtless. Changes the dynamic. Anyhow, it's the normal French family conversation. That building was in the newspaper yesterday. The dad says in proud shock, "Which building?" The mom asks in amazed suspicion. The kids are too young to talk about anything but what they want. There's a gay sitting on the bench facing a Hudson. The tea? I went to the gym earlier and of course it might shake when I got home, but it's been about 45 minutes and I have to eat. I shouldn't, but I do get a popsicle. Green apple tea. It's one of those made in Brooklyn specials. Everything on the High Line is made in Brooklyn. Yes, it's like Parkway and Driveway. It makes no sense. I think the guy who sold me the popsicle is stoned too. I hand him a $20 as he hands me the popsicle. Trade you. He gets me changed. Most people just pass money and don't say anything. He knows he's not supposed to complain, but he just isn't complaining. It's just stating how it is. People love to tell you about what they learned. Makes them feel good. Anyway, I don't give him much of a response and this baffles him. So, I walk away. The shirts are good. I think about each design. I evaluate if it's New York. Is this how we're remembered? Are these representative? I realize they have to be. They're what's sold on the High Line. So, I look to see how we're represented. New lens, more open, more curious. I think about getting a Highline hoodie, and it'd be a tongue-in-cheek commentary. But I don't, because I don't think people would understand. The Highline isn't kitsch to them yet. They can't see that it's a representation of a representation of a representation of what New York is supposed to be. It's a photograph. Barth says that when people pose for photographs, they're showing you how they want to be remembered. He thinks each is like a mini, voluntary funeral, and he's fascinated. It's a great lens to look through. And through this lens the hoodie does single quote T work. Next up we have tourists who interact with tourists. Tourists have a very strict mentality, explore and compare. The top questions are, what's this and is it like me? And if the answer is now, then, is it like what I know? They talk amongst themselves and debate. They take pictures because they want the background. I do the same thing. I hate doing it, but I do. I take pictures and document the good times, to remember, to laugh, to show. Sometimes I try to capture the beauty of a place, what makes it special. Most of the time, though, I get a fuzzy version of what makes me beautiful. And this makes me sad, because then I'm not really seeing. Another guy just took a picture of these same people. He sees the same thing, the bright red mural celebrating color and the people in front dressed just the same. And all that I read and learn about racism, indifference and prejudice and hate is ready to be referenced and cited, but that's a conversation for later, for inside. We're outside now. We're walking. We're right next to the second popsicle stand, the one I normally go to. I think this one more the underdog, and normally it is some poor aspiring Latino working, pile that is. It's Mexican for popsicle. Each country has its own Spanish. Certain countries have strong dialectic differences. The top three are Mexico, Argentina, and Spain. This is a debatable list, and I'm ready to defend my choices. Anyhow, that's part of the slalom. You see, Spanish is too easy. So, instead of translating, I listen for the dialect and determine the country or city. The two most distinct city dialects are Mexico City and Buenos Aires, Chilangos and Porteños. I'm much more a Porteño than a Chilango. I think we are more alike. Anyhow, there's some blonde girl posing on the bench. She looks like she's from New York, and I don't know exactly what she wants. I think she just wants to be admired. She's not nasty inside though, and I'm not interested, so I don't pay her any more attention. I don't care. And it's time to go. People stand on the stairway to be tourists among tourists, so I do the same. It's nice out. The sun's strong. The glare of the heat makes me stay on the sunny side of the street. I walk past the projects, and the yellow and the light fades and things are brighter and more dull. I hear the strained conversations of hope. My grandma sat me down once to give one of those talks, the ones you save up. She wanted to talk about hope. She told me that no matter what you believe in, whatever religion, what you need is hope. She wanted to make sure that I had hope. It was probably the most loving she's ever been with me. I assured her I did, and she was happy. I thought about that moment for a while. I let myself go fully into the memory. I felt the feelings, and heard her voice, saw her face. She was sitting on the right side of a dark green leather couch. She'd just moved into a condo on the bluffs in San Clemente, the front few feet of which literally hung off the cliff. And that front wall was all windows. It's a whitewater view from above. That's what my family likes, seascapes. Anyhow, when I do this, when I remember so completely and think with such concentration, I forget where I am. I look up and I don't recognize anything. I don't know the direction in which I'm walking. It's all foreign and I have to track back in. I never stop walking, I just adjust as I go. I remember that I was on 16th and then walking towards 8th. I read the signs, but don't recognize anything and look to the buildings for patterns. But I'm in the projects near the Google building and those are lifeless. And then they come back into focus, the penciled in people in Google bold colors, and straight lines in stark contrast appear back on the screen. Yes, they're decided and dedicated. And I wonder when this became New York.